Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the entire United States. Good morning to the entire world. Welcome to Politics Done Right. You are receiving our signals in the rest of the world via the magic of El Internet, created by whom? We the people, you. Now controlled by the billionaires, but something we intend to take back. Anyway, folks, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Look, before I get started, let me go ahead and transfer this to the geniuses in the studio. We have a lot to talk about, but we'll do it. Jack, how you doing this morning?
We're doing great. We're doing great, Egberto. How are you?
I am doing fine. I'm doing fine. Let me see. I kind of came in quick without saying welcome to Howard Reynolds and Jacques Van Bibber. But hey, what can I
Oh,
say?
well, that's
All
okay. We,
right.
we we got you got to us. We're all right. Our
Yes.
egos are not so big that you had to address us first. We're not the tangerine toddler.
Oh,
So
you're not. Oh God, I
no,
I thought
no.
I had me too many Trumps in that studio.
Man,
Man,
I want some
God.
attention. Give me some attention.
Wah, wah,
Man.
wah. No, good. Good morning, Egberto. It is Tuesday morning at the radio, the 27th of May. We're working on getting Elise Bench to get in here and get the tin cans and string hooked up. Currently, the tin cans and string are not functioning, but we will find out why and fix that.
But you know
Jack, you
what
got a
is
full
this?
picture wisdom there. Whoa, yeah,
Uh-oh.
go ahead.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I was ignoring the host. I better stop doing that.
No, no, no. Let's see, brother Jack Van Bibber.
All right. Good morning, Egberto. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, my brother. Talk to me.
All right. I'm going to go over the Medicare Advantage thing. Yes, Medicare Advantage is a scam that enriches the stockholder and the CEO of the Medicare Advantage for profit insurance companies. When you sign up for one of these policies, the control over your health care goes into the hands of the private for profit healthcare company. They make their money off administering your Medicare to you at a profit. So your care costs more because of the profit the Medicare Advantage insurance company plus the premium you pay for that policy. So they're getting you twice, basically. They also use the tactic of denying and delaying treatment or refuse to pay for a drug that you need. If they do this to 20% of their clients, usually the client that requires the most health care, they profit greatly by collecting the sign-up fee of $8,000 when they flip you into a Medicare Advantage. They get paid $8,000 by the government. Ain't that a scam?
Hmm.
All right,
It's a
it's just
dirty little scam.
it's a
Well, things will be different after the revolution.
after the kickback.
when when the United States falls into total disrepair and we have to rebuild it, let's rebuild the oligarchs out.
Yeah, we have to
Exactly right.
retask the oligarchs. We have to retask them.
Yeah,
We have to give them another task.
garbage men.
I
All
like
right.
the way you said that. We
That was
have to
invented, but
retest them.
I've been
Here,
thinking about that.
Well,
Jack.
what good? What oligarch would do the work that we do? I can't think of one.
Yeah, they might get a broken fingernail.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Let's give Egberto back his show
No,
because
no,
we
no.
have pitching to do.
It's our show. Is Elise in yet, or she's not in yet? Or are you
No.
still trying to figure out how we get her, or what?
Yeah, I've got to work the tin cans and string here.
All
So
right.
you go right ahead with your show, and we'll let you know when she's in.
Okay, thank you, my brother. Anyway, folks, welcome to Politics Done Right. We are going to have a great show for you today. Before I get started, I want to remind all of you that while we're going to give you a great show, that we are in fact at KPFT in what's known as Fund Drive mode, where we are trying to raise our $170,000 to run this station. Yesterday, unfortunately, because we had some technical problems, wasn't able to get it all in, and we didn't make our $500 quota, which means now I am behind by about $800. So therefore, that's a 500 for today and the $300 for yesterday. So I am trusting, I'm hoping that while we're giving you an important program with important information, that some of you will be so kind to give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1, to contribute. And there are various ways for you to contribute. You can, and by the way, you can also go to kpft.org, kpft.org. And when you go to kpft.org, hit that donate button, select the gift that you want, and select Politics Done Right as the program you're supporting, and provide whatever you can. Remember, we're asking folks who have the wherewithal to do so to consider becoming a $5 a month donor. For those of you who are in the Houston metropolitan area, you will be able to get tickets for that $5 contribution to see El Senor Tom Hartman in August. If you want to, you can just decide that you want to do $5 a month. You can also give $10 a month. I am a $10 a month subscriber, even as I do this program gratis, which means no, just come in here and do the programs without pay. By the way, any contributions, any donations received all go to the station. It doesn't come to me. This is all for KPFT 90.1 FM. All of this is so, therefore, anybody who calls 713-526-5738, extension number 1, please consider keeping us on air. A very important job that we have here. We also have T-shirts. The T-shirts, the Politics Done Right T-shirts, is $100 contribution. Coffee with Egberto, where I'll meet you in the Houston metropolitan area. We go sit down and have some coffee. That's a $250 contribution. And again, check out when you go to kpft.org a lot of offers that we have. All right, so that is one more time. I'll give you the info: 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to donate, or go to KPFT, click on that donate button, select the gift. Remember to choose Politics Done Right as the program you are supporting. And if you do it by phone, remember to tell them it's politicsdoneright.com, politics done right that you're supporting. All right, we got a contribution upgrade in her membership. Gayla Kunis. I don't know if Gayla Kunis is on right now, the chat, but please, Gayla, if you are here, give me a shout out in the chat. Want to say thank you so kindly for upgrading and getting that higher rate on your sustainer. We cannot do this without good folk like you, Gayla Kunis. Thank you so kindly. I'd like you to give me a shout out either on Substack or in the chat if you are already here listening to the program. All right. The title of the show today is Trump's Lies Are No Longer Just Words, They Are Deadly. Second topic, AOC scolds GOP on Medicare Advantage. There's a great article written in Common Dreams that I want to paraphrase, and it was done by Ralph Nader, and it's an important article because you know words matter when you are the president. If person X says something, who cares? If the president says something, it carries weight not because of the person, but because of the presidency, that thing that belongs to the American people. So when Trump lies, democracy dies. That's an article title written by Ralph Nader, and his subtitle was Trump's Lies Are No Longer Just Words. They have deadly and costly effects and can soon produce calamitous consequences. I want you to listen to this as I paraphrase it and interspace. The chronic lies of the Führer, Trump, hour by hour, day after day, are having deadly and costly impacts on the American people, with many more casualties in the pipeline of wreckage he and his henchman Elon Musk have wrought since January 20th. And I want to point out that it is worse than Ralph says, because the dissension, the angst that he's created among people, the hate that he has created among different groups of folks by instigating false differences, etc., is in my opinion, that is one of the most clearest present dangers of today. The fact that we are otherizing others, we're making brother and sister split in vile manners. That type of governance, instead of trying to keep people together, I think is likely the biggest dangers, because from that division you can actually create the chaos needed to execute, to pretty much rip the American people off. President Donald Trump lies, threats, and fake promises come from what dozens of psychologists who in 2017 perceived Trump as a processing and unstable, dangerous personality. Trump, a serial megalomaniac, announced recently, I run the country and the world. Those were directly out of the mouth of the Führer. Those were directly out of the mouth of Donald Trump. So, this is what we are going to build on. This message for the first part of this morning is what we're going to build on. But I understand that Elise is online with us right now. Elise is pitching with me this morning. So let's go ahead and ask Elise to give us a good morning and introduce to us what we have on for today. Elise, good morning, my dear sister. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Egberto. It's been a minute since we've talked, so great to hear you again and great to hear from you. Thank you, first and foremost, for what you do each and every weekday at 6 a.m. You're here with Politics Done Right, not only on KPFT, but you broadcast on Facebook and you're available in a lot of different formats. I really appreciate what you do. So if I can just say that and get that out of the way, thank you for your dedication. These days, we do need someone dedicated to paying attention to what's happening in the world. It changes really quickly, and things that affect you in ways that you may not even be aware of are going on. And Egberto does a great job of highlighting the things that are important to us these days and things that we want to know about. Politics Done Right can only do that with the support of you. Your financial donation to KPFT allows us to bring you this type of programming. And we do more than just Politics Done Right. Of course, we do a lot of things right at KPFT. So 713-526-5738 or kpft.org, the two ways you can get to us. And we'll be happy to thank you. And when you're there, online or talking to an operator, they can tell you more about other thank you gifts. One of the things we've got going on that's coming up this summer, Saturday, August 9th, Tom Hartman and Grant Peoples live together at Emerson United Church. And we're asking for a $60 donation to get to go to that show. It'll be a really fun night, an informative night. And I understand there's going to be a Q&A as well. So think about that when you're thinking about ways you can support KPFT and stay involved in what's going on in today's world and in our community here in Houston. We would love to hear from you this morning. We have a goal. We're trying to reach our overall goal of $170,000 during this drive. That's what lets us stay commercial free and stay out of the way of all of the big names that want to come in and tell you about what you need to know. We keep it local. We keep it private. We keep it personal. And that's because of you. 713-526-5738, kpft.org. Back to you, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Elise. Thank you so kindly. Lisa Blair, good morning from Atlanta. I think from Atlanta, Georgia. We have MST Marie 83. Happy Tuesday from Western North Carolina. And we have in the house several on Substack right now. Catherine Hill says, Ralph Nader plus Egberto Willis. What a treat. Good morning, everyone, she says. Welcome, Melissa Ribarge, Deborah Doyle, Teal Nyland, Karen, Ginny Morgan, Wendy, Adam W, Himani, Mary Ann, Carolyn Lee, Ayan Colloquy, Karen, Roosevelt Thomas, that is Cole Quoon. Sorry, Ian, for bastardizing your name. Bonnie Sawicki, Marge KJ, Betty Burton, and Grace Carfunkel. I missed the first 40 or so, so please go ahead, and if you want to throw your name in there and I call out your city and state, I'll be so happy to do so. Okay, so the last words that I mentioned from the article was what was out of the mouth of the Führer, Donald Trump. I run the country and the world, he says, confident that he can violate any law, any constitutional restraint, any international treaty. Dangerous Donald say he is having fun, flipping out one illegal executive order after another with cruel and vicious hamper blows against dedicated civil servants performing crucial tasks for Americans he has fired or replaced. Think about all going to the parks, Yosemite, or all these other places. Staff cut, lines long, put the American people at a disadvantage under the pretext that they are not needed. So the American people suffer, and he collects all these bits and pieces of money for his big tax cut to people who don't need it, didn't earn what they have, most of them. And I say that with no, I say that categorically. Billionaires didn't earn their fortune. The people that are listening to my voice right now, you earned their fortune for them. So whenever you see a billionaire, give yourself a pat on the back and know that the biggest donation you have ever given in life is the creation of billionaires. That is where the massive amount of the what they call excess labor goes to. Uh, when we have more time, out of fund drive, we'll go over the economics that nobody wants you to know. As long as we can keep you thinking that that guy earned it while you are lucky to have him create a job for you, as soon as we learn that that's not the reality, we will start demanding what we deserve, demanding what we've earned. Who else has he affected? Recent immigrants paying taxes and working essential jobs at low wages, harvesting our food, cleaning up after us, caring for our children and elderly, for example. Well, as all these people get scared and either self deport or leave, what do you think is going to happen to a lot of folks who were used to having enough folks in this country to take care of their kids, to do what's right? Think about that, folks. My God, Joseph, thank you so kindly from Lake Jackson, Texas. You made our day. You made up about half of where we are behind. Folks, let's join Brother Joseph Allen and in support. Thank you so kindly, Brother Joseph Allen. Now, the law enforcers and courts who work to bring him to justice is under attack as well. Is under attack as well. The torrent of Trumpian falsehoods have their own mass media, his own social media, and the mainstream media, which still reports them out, including repeating his capital letters in his posts without his victims any right of reply, even when they are named. True, the mass media now tells us when some of his wild and crazy concoctions are false, like his shameless false claim that a picture of graves was purportedly of slain white South African farmers. I don't know how many of you are on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook Live or whatever, but luckily we have a lot of our good white South African brothers and sisters going on TikTok and all these other places and saying, no, there is no genocide here. There is no genocide in South Africa. There are things being done in South Africa right now to right a wrong. but it's not doing in a way to harm this generation of our white South African brothers and sisters, the folks who understand that atonement is necessary. Don't buy don't buy the lies. Even the South African farmers are now wanting the world to understand. No, we are not victims. There are no refugees here. There are no refugees. There's no genocide here. They are out there all over correcting the record. But is our mainstream media alerting the American people who are buying into the lies Donald Trump is saying? Do we have our mainstream media not doing one or two stories, but since immigration is a big story, and since these South African farmers got preferential treatment as we're throwing out people to Sudan and other places that are being wrecked, as that is occurring, is our mainstream media out there telling our MAGA brothers and sisters, look, they're snowing you. We know Fox News isn't going to do it. Well, Politics Done Right will, and other small networks are. But, when I, was a board member with the Coffee Party USA, one of the things that we had, a program that we had was called Be the Media. And what Be the Media meant was we were a network. Everybody's a part of a network. So all of you that are listening to me right now, all of you that are on Substack, all of you that are on Facebook Live, all of you that are on YouTube Live right now, all of you that are on Twitter Live, all of you that are on Instagram Live or TikTok Live hearing this message. This message is not just for you who are listening to it in real time. Info is made when you talk to your brother, your sister, your auntie, that person in that grocery line that you hear make a silly comment. Go up to that person, say hi sis or hi brother. Let me just say that isn't quite right. Let me point you to this nicely and move on. You don't have to have an argument, a discussion, and move on. I saw a couple of slides a few days ago with a woman who was explaining how she goes to the dog park every day, and one of her friends at the dog park told her that their other friends that used to walk the dogs together, they don't speak anymore. And why is he said, well, she doesn't like me anymore because he voted for Trump, and he doesn't know why she's taking it so seriously because it doesn't really matter. And this woman had a great conversation with this guy. And she said the best part of the conversation, look, there are people that are immutable, don't get me wrong. There are people that just want to be immutable. Nothing's going to change them. But she said, it was amazing after having a civil conversation with him, nothing confrontation, the way she brought him in. And she said, just watching him absorb what she was saying, not coming out and saying, I am a convert. I'm no longer a Trump sycophant. I'm no longer that. But she says, that isn't going to happen where change really occurs. She said, if you saw how the change slowly occurred when she made him understand the angst of many people, etc. And it's just a matter of patience, perseverance, and understand that most people are, in fact, good people. Now, you have the immutable, don't get me wrong. There are those that are just, Hillary got a big rep when she said there are some that are deplorable. There are, in fact, people who are deplorable. They are happy in the pain of others. They're happy in the suffering of others. There are folks that are wired that way, but fortunately, it's not the majority of people. Welcome aboard, Joanne from Los Angeles, California. So, continuing, the true mass media now tells us some of the lies that Donald Trump speaks about, but too many are not told. Too many are not told. Uh, But fact checking doesn't reach most of the people who receive Trump's lies. For these people, his carve outs of reality are unrebutted. And that's the reason I said we created a program called Be the Media. Because we are not going to reach some people. MSNBC, CNN, 60 Minutes, and so forth are not going to reach some people that are just entrenched in these guys. But you know what? You can. As an example, I have relatives that are MAGA. I can reach them mano a mano, right? But what a lot of us have to get over is the fear of how that person hearing our message is going to react and not wanting to be bothered about it. We don't want to be bothered about having that argument. Well, what I'm saying is we're not going to have arguments. What I'm saying is you don't have arguments. If it breaks into an argument, dismiss yourself kindly, civilly from the discussion and open up again at another time. Can we have a civil discussion? Ask a lot of questions. Ask them item for item what they expect, what they want. Watch how you bring them around to seeing things the way they really are. Not seeing things your way, but seeing things the way they are. Seeing things the way they are. Rarely when they do so, in the case of Trump alleging widespread, when you talk about social security fraud, Medicare, Jack started out talking about the evils of Medicare Advantage, and Medicare Advantage is doing no different than what the people who sell Medicare Advantage, they're doing nothing different than what Donald Trump is doing, trying to turn a lie into a believable thing for people to buy into it, for people to buy into something that's going to harm them in the long run. It looks like candy now, but it harms them in the long run. You see, it's important. Now, I'm going to take a pause right here and I'm going to pass it on to Elise for a little fundraising because we are still at that big magical, that one donor. Thank you, Joseph, kindly for that. But we still have, I want to say between, we still have quite a bit of money that we have to raise this morning. So let's go to Elise and then we'll come back. Elise and then we'll come back.
Yeah, that was so nice. Joseph and Lake Jackson got us off to a really great start. And thank you so much for doing so. You can join Joseph at 713-526-5738, option one, or go to kpft.org and make your pledge, your financial pledge of support there for this radio station. You've been listening to Egberto Willies. He is the host of Politics Done Right here on KPFT in Houston each and every weekday from 6 to 7. He does this. He volunteers his time to break things down in a way that we can sort of digest and understand. And also, he does it in a really respectful manner. So if you're listening to this show for the first time, or whether or not you're, first time or a long time listener, just know that when you do participate in this type of discourse, it's very civil. We want to have conversations with you. We want to hear about your opinion and know what you think and why. Those are just simple things that we try to do to make sure that we connect you to the news and the information that we know you rely on KPFT for. And without your financial support, we go away. Public radio is under fire. It's no secret. It's loud and clear. They're pretty much shouting it from the rooftops that the goal is to eliminate free speech and eliminate independent-minded radio and broadcasts. We can't afford to lose the valuable resource that this community radio station exists to provide to the city of Houston and beyond. Please donate now at 713-526-5738. If you can, go online to kpft.org. Support commercial-free radio, support independent radio, and support Egberto Willies and Politics Done Right here on KPFT now at 713-526-5738 or kpft.org. Thanks, Egberto. Back to you.
Thank you so kindly, Elise. Let's see. Welcome, Cheryl Elkins, Ernie Boxwell, Diane, Anton Dinetto, and several others. Carol Parrott, Robert Green. Margaret Ryan says, morning. Margaret, where are you from again? Can't remember. Let me go to the other stream to see who else I need to say hello to. MS Marie says, I had to divorce my son's father because him and his in-laws spewed nothing but Fox News lies 24/7, and I didn't want my son growing up around that. They are a lost cause. Yeah, there are some people that are immutable. You're right, MS T Marie 83. But let me tell you, it's oh, I tell people this, right? Some people say after a while they just can't take it anymore. It's a psychological, it's too psychologically draining to be on the correct side, and have to justify that otherwise. What I say is this: that is okay. Everybody has to do what's mentally sound for them. Now, I have dedicated my life to this, and I'll speak and talk to absolutely anybody. I would break bread with absolutely anybody. Some of us can do that. Those who can, do it. Remember what we're doing here. But let's go to Bruce, line number one, and then I'll continue with the narrative that I'm giving here with brother Ralph Nader's commentary. Go ahead, Bruce.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good
Good
morning, my
morning.
brother.
Yeah. When I see Donald Trump, I'll tell you what it reminds me of. You know, we've all seen the guy that feels kind of inferior, goes out and buys the biggest pickup truck. About 40 years ago, I was in New Orleans doing a job. The guy stepped out of the elevator. It's an old man with a pot belly, wearing an expensive suit, dripping in gold. Under his arm was about a 20-year-old girl. Well, you know, that's probably a guy that never, when he was young, could get a date. So he goes, he gets an escort to impress people. Well, Donald was never in the military. He was a draft dodger. So he's like, well, they respect all these generals for all their knowledge. I can wave my hand and be more powerful and fire them, make them put a parade in front of me. They say I'm a failed businessman. Well, guess what? I control the world's economy. If I fart, the market jumps 200 points. Look at me. What is happening is psychologically he feels inferior. He's a basket case, so he's striking out the opposite way to try to impress probably himself more than everybody else. Um, so anyway, that's what's going on in his head, I think. But if it wasn't for the fact that his actions affect us, if it wasn't for that, I'd feel sorry for the man. But I don't feel sorry for the man. I'm done.
Thank you
Oh,
so kindly. Yes.
by the way, Alberto, the possum came back a minute ago. I shoot him off. but
All right. Don't let him bite you, but take care, my brother. Thank you for calling in. You have a wonderful day. I think Bruce nailed it. He never served in the military. He was a lousy businessman. All those things are true. But what he's showing is that with all of that, with all the critique he's gotten for 6 bankruptcies, for never serving, for not having what it takes, he still can show I am the president of the United States and I have the power to control all of you, and that is what we must, in fact, for anybody that is doing such a thing, negate them. Harry Denson, welcome aboard. He says, Egberto, people who buy into the convicted felon President Donald Trump's lies are suckers and fall for the okie dokie of Trump and Musk lies. Yes, they do. All right, continuing. Fact checking is not enough. Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain is in the house. She says, good morning, folks. All right. Look, so fact checking isn't enough. And you know, what Elise said when Elise, sorry for messing up your name. Elise said is true. What we must have are good conversations. We must have good conversations, right? All right, folks. Sorry about that. We had a little issue here, but look, here is the deal, folks. What Elise said is absolutely true. What we want to have are conversations with people, right? Conversations with people. Whenever it breaks out into anything other than a civil conversation, you are wasting your time. So, therefore, for those of us who are talking to our brothers and sisters and doing whatever it is that we're doing, trying to convince our folks or to enlighten some folks. If it ever breaks down into somebody just snapping back, or at that point, the conversation is over. You only speak to people who are willing to answer questions, listen to you, etc. In other words, when I sit down in Starbucks and speak to my MAGA brothers and sisters, and I have quite a few of them. In fact, if in the old days before the pandemic, when I lived at Starbucks, right, and all of that, If they see my car there, they would just stop by, and if they're going to the grocery store, some of them would have their wives calling, "Where are you? I sent you to buy butter." "Oh, I'm here at Starbucks talking to Egberto, you know. And the thing about it is, if you have the line of dialogue there, if you have the line of dialogue, you're not looking for that person to say they've seen the light. You're looking for them to see the light on their own. All you're doing is laying a foundation that eventually they see the light. I want to get back to Ralph Nader, but I want to tell you a quick story. We were talking about immigration with a MAGA guy a couple of years ago, and he hated immigration and he wanted all these people gone, etc. And I gave him some things to, we were talking, and he said, "Yes, well, like better this," and I'm like, "But do you want me to leave the country? I'm an immigrant." He said, "No, you did it the right way," etc., etc. And this guy has many companies, including a lawn company, and I explained to him, did you? He was talking about these guys not paying taxes. I said, "Do you know it's these? If these guys weren't paying into Social Security, their X amount of years that Social Security would be gone because they pay into Social Security, but they can never get the benefits." And I gave him a whole lot of different points. And I said, "Don't listen to me. Don't listen to Fox News. I ask you to do one thing. Just look it up." And I hadn't seen this guy in a few weeks, and he saw my car at Starbucks, and he comes out to Starbucks, and he slapped me on the back, and he said, "You are going to like what I have to say." I'm like, "What?" He said, "I think we need to be a country that was on immigrants, that support immigrants." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "But we need to do it the Republican way." And I kind of shook my head and I said, "Well, look, at least we're halfway there, whatever it is." I said, "I tell you what, why don't you do this for me? Write me a blog, and I will post it anonymously, but tell me what immigration looks like to you." And I said, "I'll post it anonymously." He said, "No, no, no, you don't have to post it anonymous. You can put my name onto it." And he wrote a blog supporting immigration, supporting bringing people over. Of course, they had to pay X amount of dollars and all of that to come over, etc. And it wasn't the way that I would do it, but we came to the same conclusion, though the process and the way to get there was different. Okay? So my thing is, as we talk to these folks, it's not about having it our way. It's about having it the way. How are we going to get Medicare for all? When people realize that insurance companies are a con in healthcare, insurance companies are a con job. When they come to that conclusion themselves, they may say, "Well, we don't want, but still we don't want the government handling the healthcare." So the compromise may be, "So would you accept a nonprofit corporation taking care of doing that?" And they suddenly you have a door open. "Oh yeah," and then now your point come in and say, "Well, and now that's a nonprofit, can we have limits as to how much bonuses I mean, there are all these different ways to get to the same place." Patrick is on the line. Patrick, come on in, my brother.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I am doing fine, my friend. Talk to me.
Well, you mentioned the Republican way of doing immigration. I kept hearing Kristi Noem and a couple other people saying, "If you leave now, you can come back. If you don't leave, when we catch you, you can't come back." So I researched what that would look like, and what that led me to is an H-2B visa. An
Mm-hmm.
H-2B visa is supposed to be, and I say supposed to be in very large letters, used for seasonal work.
Uh-huh.
So you have an immigrant come in for a few months and work for a particular employer, and then they leave. Well, the H-2B visa is going to be how people come back, and their citizenship, and that's in quotations too, is going to be conditional to how they perform at work. And so their employer, which this makes it sound even more like slavery, is going to be the one that determines whether or not they get to stay in the country. That also means that they're going to be paid less, they're going to be taken advantage of more, and they'll have fewer rights. And the big thing here is we'll probably have just as many immigrants here, they'll just have fewer rights. And so everybody that was angry and wanted them gone isn't going to see any change at all, except for a drop in wages.
Now, I mean, what you said is actually sad, right? But the interesting thing about it is that the guy, this MAGA guy who wrote the paper, and I need to go find the paper so I can post it in another blog because it's been years since he wrote it. He, believe it or not, that's not what he was talking about. What you're talking about, I think, is Trumpian, right? It's their
Yeah.
vision. It is their vision. But the good thing about it is, like you and I talk about all the time, Patrick. Yes, there are people that are immutable, but there are mostly good people around, and a lot of the problems that we have is because of how we were reared. Look, you're a great guy, but I have a lot of friends, in quotes, friends that are very sexist, homophobic, racist, and they're friends. All you can do is, keep talking to them. And when you pointed out that statement that what they are is in effect slaves because you're holding the power on that employer to determine that person's future. Well, let me turn that around, right? When you point out to that person that's what their employer is doing to them as well, even as American citizens. And they may not see it immediately, but when something happens that triggers that seed that you, Patrick, planted into that person's head, that's why the talk is important, because it's not going to germinate right away, but you would have left that seed in their heads. You follow what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I'm certainly not discouraging talking to people.
Yeah, there you go. But by the way, I never forgot that story that you told me about the guys that you worked with and Kamala Harris. That one stuck in my head.
Oh, yeah.
And anything else, brother?
No, sir. You have a great day.
You too, my friend. Anyway, folks, that was Patrick, good friend of the show. All right, folks, we only have one contributor. We need about 5 or 6 more. Can we have you? Let me pass it to Lisa. She has a much more beautiful voice than I do. Maybe that will encourage you to come on a little bit quicker, and then we'll get back to the program.
Oh, Egberto, that's subjective. I know that you have a very good voice as well. People love hearing you talk, and that's why people are tuning in this morning to listen to this conversation we're having with Egberto on Politics Done Right. Thank you for finding us at KPFT 90.1 FM. That's more than half the battle, finding this community radio station and our voice in a sea of others. And only about 3% of listeners who actually do find us turn around and do the thing that we're asking you to do, which is give us a little bit of your financial support. Thank you so much if you've already done so. If you've not, and you listen to this show daily, or maybe you just found this show for the first time, we don't do commercials on this radio station. We are Houston's community radio station since 1970. Our business model is you are our business. And the way that we connect with you is by not letting anyone else get in the way of that. So you're not going to hear commercial breaks from big box stores and local car dealers. And we just do it a little bit differently over here. And to do what we do, we need your support. Thank you so much to, we had this morning already, Joseph in Lake Jackson with a very generous donation. He did a one-time donation. There's something you can do to help us sustain this radio station, though, on a monthly basis. And that's by becoming a sustaining member of KPFT. And that means you've selected an amount that works for you each and every month that you forget about. You set it up one time, and then for the next year, KPFT receives a little bit of money from you every single month, whether that's out of your bank account, your credit card, however you want to work it. We'll work with you on that. And when you do that, we tap into an additional $50 from an anonymous donor who has stepped up this drive to help give us that extra boost. So once you add your voice and your financial contribution to this radio station on a monthly basis, we get to tap into even more dollars to support community radio. We need it now more than ever. $5 a month, $10 a month, it all adds up. If you can do that right now for us at 713-526-5738 or kpft.org, we're going to get there together. We're going to reach that overall goal of $170,000 during this drive to help KPFT stay on the air, stay independent minded with commercial free radio and free speech radio continuing. We've been doing it since 1970. Let's continue on this mission to hook up Houston with what it needs the most. This radio station, 713-526-5738 or kpft.org. Back to you, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Elise. Folks, for a lot of you are from out of state. Let me tell you a little bit about our station. We were actually bombed off the air twice by the KKK. We've lived through a whole lot in the attempt to shut us down here. So that is the kind of fortitude you're talking about. Every single voice that you hear on this station, whether they're playing music, they're giving commentary, whatever they're doing, they are heroes. They are heroes because they are here. Welcome aboard, Cliff Diamond, Gene Fuel, Lydia Beatrice, Jill LaRoe. I want to address something very important. Glenn Ryan is in the house. Welcome aboard, Glenn Ryan, as well from Atascocita, from Katy, Texas. Thank you for being here, my brother. I want to address something that Adam W. says, and I want to. I understand it perfectly. Adam says, I can respect that point of view, but I am supposed to meet the far right Trumpers halfway when they want to go full on fascism. Was Hitler and the SS open to meeting halfway? No. And again, Adam, no, you are not there to beg to meet halfway. You're there. There are a lot of people. There are the immutables. We talk about the immutables. Don't waste your time. The immutable are such. We just have to overpower the immutable, knowing that the immutable doesn't make up 50% plus one. The people that you get to are the folks that are open for a conversation. They are there because that's all they know, Adam, right? I know a lot of people that are the way they are because that's all they know. They are in a bubble, and whenever you get a chance to, like a virus, to just get into that interstitial, and you know that pretty quickly. There are folks you simply cannot talk to. You know, I have this thing that I always talk about, right? I remember talking to this lady in Starbucks, and she was just curious that I was there every day. And she had a conversation. And what we did is we had a conversation of kids and all of that kind of stuff, not about anything political till it was the right time. And because that conversation or that relationship was established, that conversation could occur. Those are the kinds of things that we have to be open for when it does occur. That is what we have to be open for when it does occur. So no, I'm not telling you to get into that position, my brother Adam W. I'm just saying if that opportunity exists for there to be a change. Rule one, find common ground. That's from Cheryl Elkins on Substack. And Cheryl, I think you nailed it. Rule one, find common ground. And the thing about it is we can find common ground with so much. Thank you very much, MST Marie 83. Thank you. Now, folks, we still, before I continue, let me do a little pitch here as well. We only have one contributor thus far. Remember, I am behind from yesterday because of the technical problems that we had yesterday. I want to ask, and I'm pitching for 2 minutes, so you can do it right now. I want to ask you to give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1, and donate whatever you can. Whether it's a one-time donation, whether it's a $5 a month donation, $10 a month donation. I am giving $10 a month because I give to KPFT $10 a month. I give to several other 501c3s $10 a month. And the reason I do that is, again, what I think we as progressives or conservatives or whomever supporting a cause need to do is show our support for a lot of these organizations that are out there doing the work. And that's the reason that I'm given to several 501c3s where I can't give a lot because this is what I do now, full time. But the idea is support these causes. They need support. A lot of times we give a whole lot of money to a whole bunch of corporations. I mean to organizations that really spend their money on paying a whole lot to consultants, etc. When you give to a politics done right via KPFT, you're going directly to the source, folks doing something. That's what we're doing. So I'm asking you kindly give us a call 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Donate whatever you can, or go to kpft.org. You can even find Coffee with Egberto on the site for $2.50. You can get a T-shirt for $100. You can also decide to be a sustainer, $5 a month or $10 a month. It's immediately matched by a $50 a month angel that decided anybody who becomes a sustainer, we give an extra $50. So please consider assisting us now. Let's go to Margaret, line number 1.
Morning.
Good morning, Margaret. How you doing this morning, sis?
I'm doing real well. I just have one thing to expound upon. When searching for relatability or common ground, biggest thing is don't attack, and introduce the possibility of reconciliation with their family and friends. And rather than debating facts and policy, open up a respectful back and forth. You've talked about this before. And then after you make some progress, which will likely take more than a single conversation, ask if they're open to hearing about regrets of former Trump supporters. And that might include work of nonprofits. So I understand you got to feel the mega supporter in your life is a racist or homophobic, downright unpatriotic. It's just please consider that saying those things will absolutely not convince them to leave MAGA. Mm-hmm. So it's just the first necessary precursors to self-empowerment. And the more we can do that, I think that we can sway these people to start thinking on their own instead of repeating the same old conversation and lies that they're telling them.
Margaret, perfect commentary, and I'm going to leave it right there because it needs no amendment. That is perfect. Thank you so kindly, Margaret. You have a wonderful rest of your day, okay?
You as well, Egberto. Thank you.
All right, folks, she nailed it. And let me just say this, right? It's not about meeting anybody halfway, my brother Adam. It's about engaging. And you know where strength lies? Strength lies in that I don't mind being wrong in something. I don't mind also humbling myself. That is strength. That is strength. That you believe enough in your own humanity that you realize, there are just times that you're wrong, there are times that you're right. And other people many times can read that, and it gives them the opportunity to help, not always, but to help break down those walls. We are close to the end, so I need to run to at least one last time before we kind of conclude here. But folks, I have only one contributor. I ask kindly that you call in. So let's go to wonderful Elise, my sister.
I think she's going to be away from the microphone. She's going to talk over Democracy Now! For a few minutes, but I'll pitch with you.
Okay, well, pitch for me, man.
Okay, what you're hearing, folks, is the most unusual radio station you'll ever find. I say unusual in the fact that we are a hybrid station. We have talk shows, we have music shows, and it's all sponsored by you. If you like one of our music shows, donate to it. If you like one of our talk shows, donate to it. 713-526-5738. and that's the number to call to make your donation. And we need that support from you to keep this unique radio station alive. So back to you, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly. Today's we have another story to cover today that I won't. The rest of the story can be found. This one is with AOC at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. But I want to finish the program, and again, just with this statement. A lot of us are concerned very often that people are not hearing, people are not listening. How did people get the way that they got? A lot of it is that the media that they have access to, the media that they're listening to. We do things differently here. We have an open door policy, and we try to get the proper, correct, truthful message out in a civil manner. But we need to be funded. The other side, they expand hundreds of millions, billions to lie to you, to convince you of things that aren't the way they are. That's what they do. They are invested in keeping us apart, keeping folks fighting among each other. That's the investment to maintain the economic system that we have today. It is a must. It cannot be otherwise. But you can change that. And and this isn't hyperbole when I say supporting stations like ours gives you the ability to change that directive. Supporting stations like ours. So one last pitch is, please give us a call at 713-526-5738 extension number 1, or go to kpft.org. Please remember to select Politics Done Right as the program you're supporting, whether you call in or do it online. Howard is kicking me out, so therefore I must close. Thank you all. Love you all. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
You're listening to the American